basing your self-worth on your achievements and your accomplishments. I don't care if you are an entry-level employee somewhere, or a CEO, or a rock star, you know, filling audiences with 500,000 people on stage. There's nothing that you can ever do that will fill that cup of emptiness if you're basing too much of your self-worth based on your accomplishments and achievements, because you always want more, right? Especially those of us who are passionate about what we do and who have a lot of energy. Hey Phoenix Nation, JD WildFlower here from HolisticSuccessInstitute.com, where we teach you how to kick burnout to the curb and reclaim your well-being. So I'm here today to chat with you about self-worth, achievement, accomplishment, and burnout, and what these things have to do with each other. So I'm just going to give you a quick background about me here and how this whole burnout thing started for me. It actually started for me when I was 14. When I was 14, I was pulled into the music director's office at my high school, my brand new high school. 3 weeks in, I'd been looking forward to starting this new music program where it was projects of individual bands of like five people each, and it was, you know, rock bands, and it was really an exciting project. So after 3 weeks in the program, I was pulled into the music director's office, and he said to me, "None of the guys want you in their bands because they think that girls can't rock." Right? Okay. So what I did in that moment is I was like, yeah, right. And I made it my mission to prove them wrong. And I did. And I just became so much about accomplishment, achievement, and, you know, proving them wrong kind of thing. I started college the next year. I started college when I was 15. I opened my first business when I was 18. I became a college professor of marketing and went on from there to be a marketing life and business coach for high-profile professionals, including Academy and Grammy winners, New York Times bestselling authors, high-profile companies, and some of the funnest people around the planet. And the thing is that for me, I went through a burnout in 2012 because I had just gotten to the point where so much of my self-worth was based on my accomplishment that it just created something for me where I wasn't having an experience of well-being in my life. And so what happened then is I actually ended up walking away from $1 million recording contract at that point, because I needed to put my well-being first in my life. And I did, and you know, with working with my own burnout, I created a methodology to get through it. And my clients started seeing what I was doing, and so, you know, asked me if I could create something that could help them with the burnout that they were experiencing as well. And that is how my Burnout Bootcamp program was created. So, you know, I'm just going to go in here a little bit into why it is, you know, what the whole self-worth and achievement and accomplishment thing has to do with burnout. So, you know, for myself, when I made that decision when I was 14, you know, to prove them wrong and to, you know, prove that I could do it, well, I did, but little did I know that that by doing that in such an extreme way, I was actually putting my well-being on the back burner as well, because I made a lot of sacrifices of my well-being in order to have the success that I wanted. And it wasn't even about external success at all. It was more about that I held the bar so high for myself. And, you know, what I eventually began to learn as I went through my own burnout was that I had to actually base my self-esteem and my self-worth on my own intrinsic value rather than my achievements or accomplishments. And I am here today to tell you that if you have been basing your self-worth on your achievements and your accomplishments, I don't care if you are, you know, an entry-level employee somewhere, or a CEO, or a rock star, you know, filling audiences with 500,000 people on stage. There's nothing that you can ever do that will fill that cup of emptiness if you're basing too much of your self-worth based on your accomplishments and achievements, because you always want more, right? Especially those of us who are passionate about what we do and who have a lot of energy. I can't tell you how many high-profile professionals that I know that just, you know, other people think that, oh, they must have like super easy lives, everything's all chill for them, it's all great and all that stuff, right? Well, that, you know, oftentimes those professionals, you know, they're just thinking about what's next. They're, you know, and what they can do and how they can top themselves and how they can, you know, go forward in their careers and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's about that bar constantly, you know, coming up and up and up. And while I think that that is a wonderful thing when you're looking at building your skills around something, you know, music, for example, music is something you're always learning. You're always learning new ways to utilize your voice as a vocalist, like myself, or if you play guitar or another instrument. There's always learning that can be done. So, you know, from a skill set perspective, I believe that, you know, continually raising the bar higher for yourself professionally can be a wonderful thing, but it has a caveat. So if you're putting your well-being on the back burner while doing this, that's when it becomes an issue. So my advice for working with this type of burnout, where your basically your self-worth is just very accomplishment and achievement based, is to just take a step back and, you know, look at all of the wonderful ways that you have intrinsic value, you know, that you are a person who deserves to have well-being in your life, and success, external success, hey, it's a part of that. External success is, you know, I think it can get a bad rap sometimes, but when you really look at it from an evolutionary perspective, it makes so much sense. It's how you survive. Success is part of how we survive because it generates the income that everyone requires in order to have good lives for themselves and their families. However, it does need to be kept in check so that you're not basing, so that your self-worth isn't like wobbling all over the place depending on where you're at in your career, because even platinum recording artists go through lulls in their careers. The music industry is like notorious for being what I call a roller coaster income industry, okay? So there's times when you're hot, there's times when you're not. And I don't mean to yourself or necessarily to your fans, but to the media. You know, there's media pushes that you do, and you might release an album, have more sales, but then it'll plummet, you know, after that, or you do a tour and then the income goes back up, but then it goes back down, and then you're constantly in that cycle. That's why I call it a roller coaster business. That's why I, as a musician, also, you know, I'm just an avid entrepreneur in general. I really enjoy creating businesses and you know, creating those kinds of experiences. And so for myself, but that's part of why I have multiple businesses in addition to being a musician, because, you know, it's such a roller coaster type of business. So the thing about that is that if you are basing your self-esteem based on, you know, where your career is at right now today, it's going to change and it's going to fluctuate. So really the important point here is to just allow yourself to just breathe. So take a deep breath in. Just allow yourself to breathe and to be present in today so that you can go forward with having the inspiration and the passion that you deserve, and basing and learning how to base your self-esteem, you know, based on yourself and you know, your capabilities and that which you have that is intrinsically valuable, so that you can really take this notion of, you know, having super unrealistic standards for what you should be accomplishing and achieving, and, you know, kick it to the curb, to be honest. Because, you know, how many times have you, as a passionate individual experiencing any form of burnout, how many times have you made a list throughout the week and were like totally unrealistic about like how much you could accomplish in that week, right? I've done it before. That's part of what led me to my burnout in 2012, okay? Because I kept setting these like super huge unrealistic lists of action steps that I was supposed to do each week. And you know what? I was constantly letting myself down. See, that's the kind of thing with it. And so that's, you know, another aspect of how, you know, accomplishment and achievement can negatively impact your self-worth if you put so much on your to-do list that you're not getting it done. So if you want to learn more about what you can do about this whole burnout thing and how to stop basing all of your self-worth on your achievement and your accomplishment, you can check out my online on-demand masterclass. It's called Holistic Success: The Key to Reducing Stress, Maximizing Your Productivity, and Cultivating a Greater Sense of Peace, Flow, and Ease in your life, so that you can kick burnout to the curb and reclaim your well-being. So you can watch that at holisticsuccessinstitute.com. And right now we are enrolling for my 4-week online mastermind program called Burnout Bootcamp. And inside of Burnout Bootcamp, we are just excited and passionate about making burnout prevention and burnout recuperation a priority. And that's what the 4-week program does. It helps you to, you know, take an honest look at how burnout is affecting you in your life, whether you're right at the beginning, which hopefully you are, because if you're right at the beginning, it's a lot easier to prevent burnout than it is to recuperate from it. But you know what? There are those of us, like myself, who went deep in, full into burnout, and, you know, there is hope. There is hope for, you know, getting your well-being back from that. And we work with everyone on that burnout spectrum, so that to really just help you reclaim your life and your well-being. And so for info on that, you're welcome to set up a phone call with one of our coaching staff members at Holistic Success Institute. And what we're doing right now is we're providing burnout strategy sessions, and they're complimentary. And this is to help to get to know you a little bit better and your needs, and help you create a map that outlines a burnout recuperation plan from point A to point B. And there's no obligation for these sessions. They're done on the phone, so you can be anywhere. They take about a half an hour. And we do these sessions to just check in with people to see, you know, if one of our programs is a fit for them, and to check in to see if they're somebody that can really be benefited from our programs as well. So to book a call, you can go to holisticsuccessinstitute.com and see if one of our Burnout Bootcamp programs is a fit for you, to help you just really kick burnout to the curb and reclaim your well-being. So, as always, cheers to love, health, wealth, and the time to enjoy it.